Hey guys, welcome to my channel that is class 9th and 10th at East. This is my first video on my YouTube channel and I am starting with class 9th, the chapter Motion Physics. Now, motion is a very broad term. Now, what is motion? I have shown such examples or these pictures every day or around us. We see everything is in motion. For example, the motion of a car, the movement of this pendulum, the motion of the satellite around the earth, even in space the motion is happening, the motion of the satellites around the earth and these planets around the sun, etc. Now, an object it is said to be in motion when it is continuously changing its position with respect to a reference point. Now, what is a reference point? Reference point is nothing but a point where an observer is standing and a point where we are going to measure something. At a point we have decided that इस पॉइंट से हम सारी चीज़ें अपनी मेजर करेंगे और जितनी भी हमारी मोशन की क्वांटिटीज़ है लाइक डिस्टेंस, डिस्प्लेसमेंट, स्पीड, वेलोसिटी, उनको हम इसी पॉइंट से मेजर करेंगे, यहीं खड़े होके मेजर करेंगे. नेक्स्ट वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड द डिफरेंसेस एंड द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ डिस्टेंस एंड डिस्प्लेसमेंट. व्हाट इज़ डिस्टेंस? Distance, it is the total length of the path, and the displacement, it is the length between the initial and the final position of the object. Displacement is actually, or in other language or in simple language we can say that the straight line path is always displacement. Like you can never take a curved line path or a zigzag path to be a displacement. Simply a straight line path between the two objects, it is said to be displacement. Now in this diagram, the one with this green line, that is a straight line path, it is the displacement, and the other one, a curved or a zigzag path, is the distance. Now for example, when we are traveling from your home to school, and you can one would be obviously the straight line path और आप सीधा सीधा जा रहे हो from your home to school, then that what would it be?
Hello.
It would be
Good evening,
displacement. But the possibility can be there that you are traveling from your home to school by certain lanes, like going through different lanes and then traveling different ways, then that would be the distance. So now we need to understand that distance, it can never be zero, and displacement, it can be zero. Take an example that we will derive it by formula only, that when you are going from your home to school and again from your school to home, and if the distance between your home to school is 16 kilometers, so then again from home to school 16 kilometers, then again from school to home you are again going 16 kilometers, so it becomes 32 kilometers. But in the case of displacement, what I earlier said you, that it is final position minus initial position. Now since your final position is equal to the initial position, because ultimately आप सुबह घर से निकले and again in the afternoon you are coming back to your home, then your final position is equal to initial position, so final minus initial would come out to be 0. Next, speed and velocity. Now since you have understood, and once you have clearly understood what is distance and displacement, speed and velocity becomes very easy. Speed, it is distance upon time. Velocity, it is displacement upon time. Since distance can never be 0, so speed, it can never be 0, and since displacement, it can be 0, so velocity, it can be 0. Now what are scalar and vector quantities? First understand this. A scalar quantity is simply which gives us the magnitude. Now what is the magnitude? For example, you sit in your car and then start traveling. Your car is traveling at the speed of 20 kilometers per hour, or suppose a train is traveling at the speed of 180 kilometers per hour, then we are simply saying that द मैग्नीट्यूड. अगर सपोज हम अपने घर पे खड़े हैं एंड कोई ना कोई इफ़ वी मेजर विद द कंपास देन देयर वुड बी सर्टन डायरेक्शन लाइक नॉर्थ, ईस्ट, वेस्ट एंड साउथ. वो स्पीड वो नहीं बताती, डायरेक्शन नहीं बताएगी. Who will tell the direction? We have a different term for it, and that term it is velocity, which will also tell us that your car is traveling with 20 kilometers per hour, but in which direction? It is either in north direction of your house or south direction or west or east direction of your house. So now understood the differences between speed and velocity. Next comes the acceleration. Acceleration is the rate of change of velocity, which means the change of velocity per unit time. Simply, A is equals to V minus U upon T. What is V and what is U? V is equals to the final velocity of an object. U is equals to the initial velocity of an object. Now guys, this is a very important topic of graphs. We need to understand the graphs very clearly. Now first, in graphs, the first term to understand, or I will first teach you how to calculate the slope of a graph. Slope, now what is actually the slope? Slope is simply just the change in y-axis upon change in x-axis. That means आपका y axis में जितना change आया है which is divided by the x axis, it will give you the slope. And what is slope of the graph? Basically slope of the graph जिसके लिए हमने graph बनाया है और जो graph हमें जो चीज़ बता रहा है, it is the slope of the graph. Now uniform motion graph, it means the speed is uniform or the uniform speed graph. Now what is the formula of speed? Guys, tell me, what is the formula of speed? Speed is distance upon time. Here, change in y-axis would be the distance, or the change in distance, change in x-axis would be the change in time. So distance upon time will give us the slope, that is speed. Now here we see that the slope, it is constant. That how it is constant? Because the slope is constant. How the slope is constant? Because you can calculate that the change in y-axis, it is equal to the change in x-axis. Means that 10 minus 0 upon 1, 20 minus 10 upon 2 minus 1, 30 minus 20 upon 3 minus 2, 40 minus 30 upon 4 minus 3. It will be constant. Non-uniform motion would be where the distance is not equally changing with time, or the uniform speed is not there, and the slope of the graph, it is not constant. Next, we will understand velocity time graph. The velocity time graph, it is basically between, or we can either say it is speed and time graph. Now what is the formula of acceleration? Acceleration is actually velocity upon time. So the slope of the velocity time graph will give us acceleration. Now how will we calculate that? Now similarly as we have done in the distance time graph, the slope of this speed time graph, if it is a constant slope, then it would be uniform acceleration, a straight line graph as shown here. But if it is not a constant slope, it means it is a non-uniform acceleration. That means the speed is not uniformly changing with time. मतलब speed unequal rate से बढ़ रही है. Okay guys, I hope you understood. Now you need to just learn this. It is nothing I can explain you in these equations of motion. You have to learn this. Then we will solve all the NCERT questions, the indexed questions, and various problems based upon these equations of motion. So V final is equals to V initial plus AT. V is equals to U plus AT. then s is equals to ut plus half at square. This is the second equation of motion. Next, the third equation of motion is v square minus u square is equals to 2as, or v final square minus v initial square is equals to 2as. So guys, don't worry, we will do the numericals. First you learn these equations, then we will do the numericals upon this. Next comes uniform circular motion. When a body moves around a circular path, then motion of that body is said to be uniform circular motion. I need to add something in this. Sorry guys, that when a body moves around a circular path with uniform speed, keep in mind, uniform speed, then it is a uniform circular motion. But guys, देख रहे हो मैंने यहाँ पे क्या लिखा है? But now see, even though the speed it is constant, means the speed it is uniform in a uniform circular motion. हम although हमने पढ़ा कि हम उसको uniform circular motion कहते हैं because the speed it is constant, it is uniform, but the direction is changing at every point, which means that velocity is changing. Now understand, क्या होता है ना कि circular motion में हमारी हर एक पॉइंट पे डायरेक्शन चेंज होगी, डायरेक्शन विल नॉट बी द सेम. एंड क्योंकि स्पीड में तो डायरेक्शन आती नहीं है, तो स्पीड इट इज़ कांस्टेंट, बट वेलोसिटी में तो डायरेक्शन आती है ना, सो वेलोसिटी विल बी चेंजिंग. एंड सिंस एक्सेलरेशन क्या है, velocity, change in velocity upon time, since it depends on velocity, so acceleration continuously also changes. Thank you guys. आज के लिए इतना ही. Further I will be discussing the back exercise questions and we will discuss each and every question.